now we are going to see the causes of cell injury. Actually, why the cell injury may take place? Because of oxygen deprivation, that is nothing but hypoxia, you know it. So hypoxia is the most common cause, and that is nothing but decrease in the aerobic oxidative respiration. So this decreases the blood. So this is about hypoxia. So what are the causes of hypoxia? Now let us know. That is decrease in the blood flow, that is ischemia. We know when the blood flow is decreased, the carrying capacity of oxygen is decreased, leading to hypoxia. And decreasing oxygen carrying capacity in the case of anemia and carbon monoxide poisoning. So in anemia, what happens? Blood is decreased. As blood is decreased, hemoglobin binds with oxygen and carrying it. So when the blood is decreased, even the oxygen carrying capacity is decreased, again leading to hypoxia. And atherosclerosis or severe blood loss. Atherosclerosis means narrowing of blood vessels due to the accumulation of severe fats, debris or cholesterol. So there also, as the blood vessel is becoming narrower, the blood flow decreases and leading to hypoxia. So the blood flow may be decreased on the venular side or atrial side, because when venular side the blood flow is decreased, there the blood blocks, and the atrial side also blood can't flow freely. So that also leads to decrease in the oxygen. And severe blood loss, we know as the blood is lost, oxygen is also decreased. And the physical agents which are affecting them are the mechanical trauma, extreme temperature, that is high burns or very cold temperature, and the change in atmospheric pressure, radiation and electric shock. This all we know. These are the physical agents leading to cell injury. And the chemical agents are glucose. So when the glucose, we know glucose is good for us, but whenever it is high, it may also become a toxic. And also the salt, these are in hypertonic concentration, may damage. That is they dearrange the electrolytic balance. So that is what leading to toxicity or leading to cell injury. And also increase in the concentration. Oxygen also is toxic when it is concentration is very high, that is making it toxic in nature. And the poisons like arsenic, cyanide and mercuric salts, and also environmental and air pollution, we know herbicides, many things. And in air pollutions, we know carbon dioxide, asbestos, etc. And also alcohol, and also drugs, and also therapeutic drugs sometimes, like whatever we use for our diseases may also cause, we know, some side effects, but if they are in very high dosage, they also may cause the cell injury. And the infectious agents are like virus, tapeworm, bacteria, fungi, parasites, we know it. And immunological reactions, what happens? Sometimes our body cells attack on our own cells, leading to autoimmune reactions. This is an immune reaction to our internal agents. So sometimes the immune reaction to the external agents also cause cell injury, like with microbes, environmental substances, etc. And the genetic derangements, that is the congenital malformations. Here we can take the Down syndrome, that is the 21 trisomy. Instead of having 2 chromosomes at the 21 position, it has a tree. So this we can take an example. And sickle cell anemia, where the one decrease in the lifespan of the RBC by one amino acid substitute, first amino acid substitution in the hemoglobin. And the causes may be the deficiency of the functional proteins and enzymes, defects in inborn errors, that is, these are the causes for genetic derangement. And also damage in DNA or misformation of proteins. As we know, the damage of DNA again leads to decrease in ATP, that is nothing but interlinked with the decrease in the oxidative phosphorylation, and same process continues. And the nutritional imbalance, because protein is a calorie deficiency, like decrease in vitamins, proteins, this anorexia nervosa, it's an important term, that is the self-induced starvation. Sometimes people like dieting process or etc., they starve. If they starve for many days, it is also leading to cell injury. Also nutrition excess to a cell. So when not only when the nutrition is deprived, that is in the case of malnutrition, even when the nutrition is excess, in America, like countries, western countries, where the nutrition is excess and leading to, that is also leading to cell injury, like increase in the cholesterol, atherosclerosis, again causing obesity, diabetes, cancer. So the obesity, atherosclerosis is an endemic in the US nowadays. And next we have the morphological alterations, that is all stress and noxious influence affects first at the molecular or biochemical level only. So there's time lag between the stress and morphological characters of the cell injury. So with histochemical or ultrastructural techniques, the changes can be seen in minutes to hours after the injury. So the changes can be seen by a light microscopy or gross examination. Actually, here we can take one example for this to understand it. That is, in ischemia of the myocardium, the cell swelling is reversible morphological change. but when only for a certain limit, that is occurs in a matter of minutes, but and may also progress to irreversible within a hour or two. So if that is what they are saying, if it is adaptable or it is only a minute stress, then it can be reversible, but whenever it exceeds a limit, it may also go to irreversible state. So unmistakable light microscope changes of the cell death, however, may not be seen until 4 to 12 hours after the total ischemia. So this is important. So we can't find the ischemia as easily. And in a reversible injury, it's characterized by the generalized swelling of the cell. We know because of sodium and potassium damage, because of disturbance and decrease in the ATP and its organelles, and the blebbing of the plasma membrane. As you know, the cell is fully filled with the water. The plasma membrane becomes prominent because it is full, so it is like becoming prominent, that is blebbing of plasma membrane, and detachments of ribosomes from the ER. Of course, because of more water inside, the ribosomes get detached from the ER, so that the protein synthesis decreases. And the clumping of nuclear chromatin, because all the chromatins come each other, nearer to each other, and these morphological changes are associated with the decreased generation of ATP. So as the chromatin is lost, of course ATP decreases, loss of the cell membrane integrity, and this defects in the protein synthesis, of course we have discussed, and the cytoskeletal damage and also DNA damage. So nothing but a whole cell is damaged here. So the cell can repair these dearrangements, and if the injurious stimulus abates. So if the stimulus is like only for some time, when this all process is occurring, already cell is in stress, so if more stress comes from outside, I think of course cell goes to death. But when the injurious stimulus abates, that is when it stops, then it returns to the normalcy. So that is reversible, and the later discussed one is irreversible. So persistence or excessive injury, however, causes cell to pass the rather nebulous, that is the point of no return, into irreversible injury and cell death. So different injurious stimuli may induce death by necrosis or apoptosis. We know, we have discussed it. And severe mitochondrial damage with depletion of ATP and rupture of lysosomal plasma membrane are typically associated with the necrosis. So these are what which are associated with necrosis. So necrosis is a principal outcome in many commonly encountered injuries, such as those following ischemia, exposure to toxins, various infections, and also trauma. So the apoptosis has many unique features, and we will learn it further. So this is all about today's video.